Hey there, Larry Stein, Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service with you today. Happy New Year, guys. We've made it to 2023. Finally turned the page of 2022. We're glad to leave 2022 behind, but 2023, it's starting off super dry, so we're really hopeful that we'll get some rain. Now, certain parts of the state are wet. East Texas, College Station over that way, fairly wet. Central and west, extremely dry, so we're kind of worried about that. The other big thing on everybody's mind this year, obviously, is the freeze. The Arctic blast that we had, extreme cold, and so we had citrus trees, again, take it really hard. But notice how these leaves are coming off. These leaves are coming off. Obviously, this is what the citrus plants should look like, green leaves, but the good news is these leaves are coming off, so when the leaves come off, that signifies we may have minimal wood damage and that the trees will come back. So like we've said before, winter damage, this is early. That damage occurred in December, so you're going to need to learn to like ugly for a while. We don't want to be messing with these trees. We just kind of want to leave them in place, and that way, if we get more cold, we'll have a little bit more insulation. Now, one of the things that we're going to try to do a little bit different this year is we're going to try to post more one-pagers. Just a one page about what you do, and so we'll post one on what to do about freeze damage later on. I hope you'll join us the rest of this month as well for different things. We're going to talk about cool season vegetables, we're going to talk about bulbs, soil testing, pruning. Everybody also always wants to know about pruning. We're going to talk about dividing fall blooming perennials as well as dormant oil scale. And in addition, we'll have a few other short blurbs that we'll talk about. So I hope you'll make plans to join us each Wednesday and Friday for Aggie Horticulture Facebook Live 2023. Look for more one-pagers where we give you short, good tidbits information. So we want to show you a few more highlights of January, what we're looking about. We talked about the freeze. Like I said, we got to learn to like ugly. A lot of plants took it on the chin. Avocados, those of you guys that plant seedling avocados, that's something that you're always going to have to deal with. We're also looking at perennials. You know, perennials, obviously it froze back. They do that every year. And these back, we'll show you a section over here. But notice down in here, there's columbines. This is yellow columbine, and it didn't freeze, and it's not supposed to freeze, so that's good. Now, one of the other things that kind of took it on the chin were cool season annuals. You know, like pansies now, a pansy is anything but a pansy. But even these plants took it kind of hard when you get extremely cold temperatures. We had an extremely long freeze point, anywhere from 16 to 17 degrees as a low, but it was 15 hours plus at one time. And so when you get that amount of cold for that long, you can expect to see some damage. Now, obviously, these pansies will recover. They will come back. The big thing you want to do with your cool season blooming annuals is you want to be fertilizing them, slow release fertilizer, something like Osmocote, and then of course you can't forget the water. Now here are pansies that were in, and notice that they took it pretty hard, but they're coming back, and so if we will take this dead stuff off, prune this stuff off, and then lightly fertilize again with a slow release fertilizer, keep them well watered, we ought to be in good shape there. One of the things we've been talking about is these herbaceous perennials, like this is salvia, improved mystic spire salvia, and so notice how it is frozen back. But way down in the center, like this is a plant in a pot, you have a green shoot. And so what I would suggest you do is I would leave this in place again, because that stuff you leave in place is going to give you protection for those particular right there. January is also a good time to thinking about browsing through seed catalogs. You know, we're all ready for spring gardens, but you got to have your seed on hand. So those cold days when you don't have anything better to do, browse through seed catalogs. Buy your favorites. Try a few new varieties. Get that ready. Also think about getting your beds ready. Getting your vegetables ready, vegetable bed ready, where you're going to plant flowers, etc., etc. Start getting all that stuff ready so that when spring comes, you'll be ready to go. We've been talking about fertilizer. We really like to use slow release fertilizer. Slow release, you can get 3 months, you can get 2 months, 6-month release. Remember these slow release fertilizers though, when you're in Texas, they really don't last as long. So like if you buy a 6-month formula, it's probably only going to last 2 to 3 months because of the heat there. The nice thing about these slow release fertilizers is though, you can put a lot on the plants and you're really not going to hurt anything. We talked about putting that on those plants, watering it in, and that will take care of that. Last thing, a couple more things we want. It's transplant or plant shrubs, trees. I mean, if you're going to plant fruit trees, now's an ideal time to do that. Container, otherwise, we like to plant container plants so that you can knock the plants out, root system out. Plants, but also plant new plants. January. Plant them in larger containers and maybe have them come back bloom next year. A lot of the newer varieties that they grow today, they don't need that dark period to stimulate the bloom. And so that kind of takes care. Before, I hope you'll tune in and join us every Wednesday, Friday, and Friday. And is there a question? Larry Stein, Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service.